They're always having conversations when they're drunk.
Can you look at the camera?
Sure.
Jacob, why are you like this?
Should we rename the show to the Jacob? Why are you like?
Why are you the way you are?
I'm
The
surprised
Jacob
there
Person
hasn't
story.
been a title of an episode. Why are you like this? But maybe that will be this episode, but it shouldn't be because we're not here to talk about why Jacob is like the way he is. Welcome back to the Dr. Z Show. I feel like we should hold the announcement to the end, or just like put it in somewhere so that people have to watch the whole show to know the announcement. But I'm not terrible, so I'm not going to do that. So we have a big announcement.
Yeah.
Drum roll. Okay, it's too loud. Okay, so because Jacob and I are white men. No, that's not why. Because well, maybe. No. But so we're adding Brenna to the show as a regular host. Yay! So now we have to she's a real boy.
Wait,
So now we have to coordinate 3 people's schedules instead of just 2.
Yay!
To get
insane.
a confetti cannon?
Oh,
Guys, I
yeah.
One of those like one of those New Year's poppers.
I'm
That
so
was like
sorry.
your only job this episode, Jacob, was to bring the confetti.
You forgot.
It's been a busy week.
We're all disappointed in you.
Severely.
Note
Everyone,
that
get
this
in the
show
comments.
is not. The show is not sponsored by Dungeons and Dragons or by New York Comic Con.
And
Way to wear branded clothing. So what are we here to talk about this week,
I don't know.
ladies and mental gen? Because we couldn't talk about it last week because someone,
died.
not gonna name any names, but someone who wasn't Jacob or I, decided to get a massage and then turn their phone off. And
My
then
phone was on. I just don't have the ringer on because I'm not a savage. who
we
just
didn't name
loves
any. We
every-
didn't name any names. You outed yourself on that
Literally
one.
named 2 names. You
Oh,
said not
you did-
Anthony or Jacob.
That's a lot of people. It could have been anyone.
Literally
It could
named
have been literally anyone. So now we're here.
We're here.
We're gonna raise Abraham Lincoln from the dead. Like he was our plan for the other.
Oh, for sure.
But-
Party on, dude.
I'm sorry, Brenna. We settled.
Where are you going with it? Where is this going?
I was just thinking of someone.
Why
who
Abraham Lincoln?
He's
I
saying I'm a step down from Abraham Lincoln,
Yes.
which
That's
I
not
mean,
because he's a white
I
man.
respect. It kind of feels like because he's another white man, but I'm not going to take it personally.
Are there warlords in places other than Africa? Jacob always manages to say something like vaguely racist or sexist on like most of the episodes.
No, it's because I don't actually say things that are terrible. It's that I think about how they could have been interpreted as terrible, and then I try and like hedge my bets, and then I reveal all of the possible.
It's like a Jacob's Ladder kind of thing.
Like a Merchushka doll of like bad analogies.
You're trying so hard. Like Brenna has become Jacob's like pun apprentice.
First of all, I'm not an apprentice. Second of all, the Jacob's Ladder thing, not intentional.
So Jacob, you gotta like watch your back because one day Brenna's gonna like kick open your door and kill you, and take her own apprentice.
She's gonna single white female me.
What?
What?
Do you know that trope?
No.
Someone single white female?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Abby.
It was a book first, and then it was a movie. The plot is this. There's a normal chick. She gets a roommate. The roommate starts to dress like her, starts to hang out with her friends, starts to pretend to be,
Oh, yeah.
steals her entire life and identity.
And then kills her?
I think there's also a murderous edge to it because it's typically that you're trying to completely replace someone and kill them.
So that's what Claire has been doing. I knew something was weird.
Have you guys heard? Are you either of you familiar with the band Busted? The Brit pop punk band from the early 2000s.
This is gonna be another Ninja Sex Party thing, isn't it?
It's not actually,
Okay.
but
All right.
Busted had they did a lot of like, they were an actual famous band. They did the Thunderbirds Are Go theme song for the 2007 Thunderbirds movie that Disney put out.
Okay.
The live action one that was god awful, but so.
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really
Yeah.
loud. I'm sorry.
That theme song,
Okay, I remember
is
it.
done by Busted. Yeah, but they have a song called "She Wants to Be Me," which is all about dating a girl, and then she assimilates his persona and then puts him in a mental institution
Okay.
because she's able to convince everyone that he is
Original.
her and she is him. Yeah.
I'm making a big old wedding album on Facebook finally. But everyone who's there can finally get the pictures.
Congratulations.
There you go. You're doing it.
The reference there is that we got our wedding photos today, and Claire is disappointed.
Disappointed!
Do you not know that one?
I feel like I do, but
Her-
Jacob
you
can't
said-
do the. Oh yeah, okay. Jacob can't do the voice while he's shouting. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we actually here to talk about? Have we even gotten to that yet? Brenna, you're supposed to
No.
keep us on
No,
track,
I'm
and we're
so
6.5 minutes into the show, and we're way off the rails as usual.
I'm
Welcome to the
sorry.
Dr. Z show, because fuck
Today
you.
we're talking about consumable objects in video games and anime.
Okay,
And wow.
okay. First of all, media. Second of all,
Yeah.
consumable objects makes it sound like way broader than it is, because like I
That's
could
not
consume this
Food,
pair of
fine.
scissors, but
No,
it would
you
be
can't.
very bad. I can't.
Things that are both edible, like either edible or potable.
You would have to break it down to like never food. We're talking about food. Fine.
Thank you.
Have you heard
And
of the guy who
drink.
ate a plane? There's a guy who ate an entire plane, just like one little shaving at a time.
What?
That's a joke. That's not real.
No, it's real.
No, it's
It's
so
super
real.
real.
Jacob, I do not believe you. And even if this is real, I refuse to believe you.
No, let
No.
me just.
It's so
Jacob,
There's a
no.
Borderlands. No, I know he's right. There's a Borderlands 2 joke about that. The character Crazy Earl in Borderlands. In Borderlands 2, one of the other characters gives you like a quest, and he's like, "Go see Crazy Earl," and he's like, "Oh, don't hang around him because he's crazy. He ate an entire car once."
I
like with a
physically
fork?
cannot lose more faith in humanity than I already have. I refuse to believe this because I physically cannot lose any more faith in humanity.
Oh no, you
And
can't.
believing this
How
will
would that
allow
be
me
for a
to.
pickup line though? How would that be for a pickup line? And he goes to a bar and he's like trying to pick up a girl, and he's like, "Hey, so like I ate a plane once."
No, but there was a guy who got
He's
kicked
really
out.
good at
It's a
deep
good
throating.
icebreaker.
Boom.
It's a good
Done.
icebreaker.
Baby.
He didn't eat the entire plane in one bite.
Not one bite, but the guy who ate the baby mayo.
Oh, he spelled Michael wrong, so
No,
he's already lost
French.
respect.
He's French. His name is Michel.
That's what I said.
That's
I've heard
racist.
about this guy. He ate the Cessna.
I'm not. The
One
Ignorance-
of the more famous items he ate over his lifetime. What
you're-
the fuck?
no. I'm not
Metal,
looking at the
glass,
yard.
rubber,
Look at
bicycles,
it.
shopping carts,
Look at it.
televisions.
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. I refuse to believe he's real.
Just follow your bliss.
Between 1959 and 1997, he had eaten nearly 9 tons of metal.
This is not what the episode is about, Anthony.
This man must have had the most pained asshole.
I'm doing my job.
No, he was.
Okay, no. This is the worst part. He died of natural causes
At what
Ten-
age?
10 days after his 57th birthday.
That's That's not natural.
You do not die of natural causes.
So he died of lead poisoning. Great.
You can find it in nature, therefore it's a natural cause.
Okay. Where do we want to begin?
I can't believe this man is real. He also spelled Michael wrong. Like, fuck that guy.
He's French. That's
What I
racist.
said. That's not racism.
I mean, it's not racism.
If we can't akin you to a lasagna, you can't tell him his name's spelled wrong. It's the same thing.
So does that, like, what part of me is the lasagna though? So it's like my blood, the sauce, and then you have to
No,
like.
your soul is a lasagna. If you were a food,
Layers.
you would be a lasagna.
The white blood cells are the ricotta.
You know what else has layers? Lasagnas.
I was gonna say onions.
Which is a food. So we're on track. So
We're on track. We're back on track. We're no longer talking
Best
about
representation of an onion in media.
an onion in media.
Correct.
The onion.
It's not even a
the
question.
The award-winning short film, the Oscar award-winning short film, where he makes lasagna, where he makes guacamole. I'm so sorry.
Oh. I haven't seen it.
I don't know.
You saying the one with like the dice and the felt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Short film Oscar. I just want to remember the name. I know I will remember it.
You'll remember it when you see it and read it for the first time.
Well, no, not for the first time. Like, no, it was all over. It was all over Tumblr when it first came out. It was.
That's why she knows.
That is literally why I know. It was
One of the few people who remained on Tumblr after the purge.
still there.
Yeah, when they gave everyone 24 hours where you could kill anyone else on Tumblr. And it wouldn't be a crime.
No. What was? Oh God.
Jacob,
I
don't know if you actually. Okay, I was
I-
like, if you actually don't know, your innocence is too pure for this world.
I know.
No more female presenting nipples. Only female.
Wait, what?
Only female.
I feel like this is a really good like time to bring up that Magic the Gathering Unhinged card MC,
Yeah.
where you can get a +1/+0 on any
Western
character
spaghetti.
by
Well, no,
yelling presenting before any card name. So I
Yeah.
feel like that card, but with like a naked woman on it, just like
Presenting.
these are the things that happen in my brain when I try to combine things like Tumblr and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Sometimes it meshes, sometimes it's like, why are you like this?
I forget, Brennan and I had an entire conversation during like the rehearsal the day before about turning some things into cards. I forget
Yeah.
what it was.
Oh, what was it?
It was really good, but I forget
I
it.
don't remember. It was like we were gonna.
Why wasn't I there during this? Probably because I was out somewhere panicking.
You were
Inside.
asleep. No, because this is
No.
when we were playing Wave. Or this was either before we played Wavelength or.
Wait. This was when we were at the church, and you were going through. You and Claire were going through the. You were talking.
Oh, the actual
Oh
like.
yeah.
Okay, so she was there at that point. Okay.
Oh, what? I don't remember what we were talking about.
I don't know either.
We're fucking off topic again. Like,
We're off topic again.
This is
Fresh
bad.
Guacamole was the name of the short film. And in it, it's all claymation-y, and who's it by? It's directed by P.E.S., who's a director, and Adam Pesapane. And he does like all these claymation kind of short films, and it was a clay onion, and then he diced it, and he chopped it one way, and then as he diced it, it turned into like small dice, and it was like tortilla chips were playing chips, and it was all the
Okay.
salt and pepper shakers were like the king and queen of on a chessboard. I really recommend watching it. It's like 4 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find his other one that I know of, Western Spaghetti, which he makes spaghetti, and there's like he like chops up a Rubik's cube. It's wild. I really
I feel like
recommend
I've
it.
heard of this.
Yeah, he takes game pieces and he makes. Oh, he's from UVA. He did UVA stuff. Yeah, wild.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so to
Onion.
answer the question of the best representation of onion in media. Also, of course, the Shrek carriage. Yes.
The carriage
We
at the
have
end of
to
Shrek 1,
mention
yeah,
it.
they walk away or they ride off in a carriage that's actually an onion.
It's also in Shrek 2. Because that whole funky town sequence.
Okay. Moving on. Jacob, best food that you have read about, seen, or virtually ingested that you would want to eat in real life.
The breakfast that Sophie makes for Howl in Howl's Moving Castle is
Okay.
Yeah.
No
Same.
defense. No defense. So people will have to look it up.
Okay.
Brenna.
I mean, visually, anything Food Wars the anime has ever drawn always looks beautiful.
Okay.
It always looks cool. But description-wise, the ambrosia from the Percy Jackson books. Because it can literally taste like whatever you want, and it tastes like the best version of whatever you want.
Okay.
Cool.
I have two. One for one reason and one for another.
Much in the same way that was my answer.
Well, so anything from Studio Ghibli.
Right.
Anything.
Yeah.
But mostly,
yeah. Well, so I'm supposed to be.
did either of you see Kiki's Delivery Service?
That's one I haven't seen.
Okay. So there's a part, Jacob, you've seen it? So, you know when she goes to the old woman's house
Mhm.
to make the delivery of like the fish thing? It's like a casserole or something. She like the woman like can't make it for whatever reason. And so they go through this like whole subplot process of Kiki helping the old woman and her like housekeeper or somebody making this like dish. And then Kiki like delivers it to the woman's like granddaughter, and granddaughter's like like ungrateful about it or whatever. But like just because it was so important in the plot, and like they never tasted it. They just were like, "Oh, this is dumb," and like sort of threw it away as a plot device. I was like, "What is it? Like what? Like I don't even know what it is. What's in it? Like it looks so good though." And like it just like blew my mind that they just like had this huge plot device and they're like, "Nah, dude, fuck that," and threw it out. And I was like, "No, eat it. It looks so good." Also, the bread, the bakery that she lives above, the bread
Yeah,
in the bakery is just like,
I mean, that's just Ghibli in general, though. I mean, like,
yeah,
all
everything.
of Spirited Away.
Oh yeah,
all
literally
Spirited
all of Spirited Away.
The entirety
Just like,
of Spirited Away. I don't know if there's a scene where food or, like, their beautiful liquid physics aren't a part of it.
I forgot how in Ponyo, ham is a really important part of that movie. Because
Is it?
yeah, because so Ponyo starts
yeah.
out as like a fish daughter
Yeah.
of the Sea King, and then when she goes on land, it's like a weird version of like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
When she goes on land, then she slowly becomes more human, and she tries ham for the first time at their house, and she's just like, "What is this?" And then for the rest of the movie, she's like, "Ham."
And I'm sure, like,
The-
Nick Jonas was like, what?
the only
Nick Jonas
The only
played
thing-
the little boy in it.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about Ponyo, other than that thing that you just told me, and ham that you just told me, is the theory that the little boy and girl in Ponyo are the baker and her assistant in Kiki's Delivery Service. There's like a fan theory
Oh.
that they're the same people.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes into this like wildly deep theory about how all of the movies are connected and
I
exist
mean,
in the
they
same universe.
probably are because it's Ghibli and everything's so deeply well thought out. Like,
But they're all adaptations of books, so
Yeah.
I don't.
Were they all written by the same person?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but
no.
the Totoro sprites come back, and other ones. The little coal boys.
Yeah.
From Howl's Moving Castle, they're in a couple things. I mean, like
They're in Spirited Away.
they are in Spirited Away. Of the Wind.
Nausicaa
So,
of the Valley.
Nausicaa.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Like that whole the forest shots. Those forests are kind of just very much the style of Ghibli.
There's something in Kiki's Delivery Service when she right after that scene that I was talking about where she delivers the fish, she gets really sick and she goes out to this cabin in the woods, or she's the woman finds her and she's staying with this woman. There's a line and I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up and bring it to another episode. But there's a line where Princess Mononoke could vaguely be mentioned. And I think that part of that wild fan theory that they're all connected is that this woman who lives in the woods is related to Mononoke somehow, she was one of the distant ancestors of this woman. Not the point. Food. So we all are basically in agreement about Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Except the Ambrosia from Percy Jackson.
Yes.
Fair.
I think, and I'm trying to think of live action media that has.
Or even
obviously,
food.
There's food channel things, but I'm trying to think of other, things that aren't.
The pies from Pushing Daisies.
Yes.
The pies from Pushing Daisies always looked good, and that was the style of the show, right?
Yeah.
The whole style was kind of comic booky and had that, it's detailed and colorful in a weird way. Yeah.
We'll separate it. We'll separate it because a drink is a food.
Yes.
But drinks. A drink from a piece of media that's not Studio Ghibli. We're gonna take that one out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know
That
what?
you've always wanted to try.
The
That
poison
you would want
that
to
turns
try.
Hercules mortal.
Oh.
That is very well animated liquid. It would be horrible to drink because it would kill me. But
See, I figured that you would think that, or I thought that originally you were going to come up with the llama poison from The Emperor's New Groove.
yeah, but that's
Spinach puffs.
obscenely-
Holy shit.
obscenely-
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. The spinach puffs from Emperor's New Groove.
Patrick Warburton.
My favorite part about that scene is when Yzma throws out the llama and it turns the cactus into a llama.
Yeah.
It's so quick and you wouldn't notice it, but it's just llama cactus.
Is genuinely one of the most detailed and clever movies that Disney has put out, and it was a throwaway idea.
Yeah.
That's what's so fucking funny to me, is that it was a throwaway idea and they just wanted David Spade on a movie, on a Disney ticket.
And it got rewritten a bunch of times. And...
Yeah, and that, there was gonna be this epic
Well, it's like the thing about Prince of Egypt. It's like the thing about Prince of Egypt and Shrek.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know the story, I think we brought this up on some episode, or maybe we just talked about Prince of Egypt on a different episode. The Prince of Egypt and Shrek are both developed by DreamWorks. Prince of Egypt is an amazing movie, first of all. Minus all the religious tones of the movie, it's still a fantastic movie. But that's the story. But anyway, point. So the story goes that people that worked on Prince of Egypt that fucked up somehow while the movie was being developed were sent to work on Shrek. And that was their punishment, was they had to go work on this other movie that DreamWorks was developing. And according to legend, it was referred to as being Shreked, or you were being sent to the dungeon to work on this other movie. And both of them ended up doing wildly successful, and Shrek has 5 movies now or some shit.
I would say Shrek ended up being more successful than Prince of Egypt.
Which is a tragedy. Shrek is funny. The first Shrek movie is hilarious. The other ones are less they're like trying to like
I
sort
feel
of
like
ride the high of the first one.
Yeah, but I think Shrek 2 is I think Shrek 2 is the best.
Prince of
Unpopular
Egypt
opinion.
though is amazing. It's a fantastic movie. The animation alone in that movie is just like
Except, gosh, the villains are
which
knockoffs.
villains?
Like the
Priest, the high priest.
The priests feel like Pain and Panic from Hercules. Just exactly.
They also feel slightly
They're a bit derivative to me.
they also feel similar to the priest from The Road to El Dorado. Which is like fucking amazing. That movie is
He was
fucking
better.
gold.
He was better though.
No pun intended. Like that movie is
And
fucking
he was
amazing.
that one.
Also, can we also talk about how the Road to El Dorado, the two main characters were actually intended to be gay lovers, and they just cut that part from the film?
Yes.
But
everyone knows.
I didn't know this. Okay, I didn't know this until I saw the gif of the kiss before they fall off. They get pushed off the cliff. I didn't know this until the gif, and then like people like started in the rest of the thread. It was like gifs from the movie, and I was like, oh, that makes the whole movie make way more sense. Like.
It was also supposed to be a spoof
regard.
of an entire series of movies,
Well, yeah.
The Road to Blank.
Yes.
Well,
but going back to liquids that I wish to consume from media, vacation juice from Animal Crossing. In the mobile like Pocket Village update, because Nintendo was like, you can't put alcohol in Animal Crossing, they made vacation juice. And it looks a whole lot like a Blue Hawaiian. And when Isabel drinks it, she gets crunk in the club. So all I'm saying is vacation juice.
I have another submission.
Okay.
Grandma's soup from Wind Waker.
Ooh, yeah.
It doesn't really look that appetizing.
It looks hearty and filling.
In game is better than every other potion in the game. Like,
what is the effect?
It heals you to full hearts. It fills up your entire magic meter, and like, there's
so
like
it's the purple potion from Link to the Past.
Yes, but it's Grandma's soup.
You could theorize that the witch in Link to the Past was Link's grandmother.
It's called elixir soup.
Yeah, it's an elixir.
Yeah, elixir soup is a recurring item in the Legend of Zelda series. And Wind Waker, elixir soup.
I think
elixir soup, special soup made for Link by his grandmother.
What else does it exist in? What other games? It says recurring item.
It does say a recurring item. Yeah, the soup.
Maybe it's just all
gets
other
the
stuff.
soup after he cures his grandmother when he falls ill. Yeah. Oh, it's in Hyrule Warriors.
Recurred once.
Okay.
For recurring.
HBU's Monopoly. Continue.
Basically any drink from Cowboy Bebop, except the one with the egg in it.
Yeah, I agree. But like all their cheese,
I still can't remember that you've seen Cowboy Bebop until I bring it up and you're like, yeah, and I'm like,
yeah, I watched that pretty recently. I still need to see the movie, but
guess we can finish that tonight.
yeah, Jacob.
I've only watched like the first 4 episodes twice.
Why are you like this?
I mean, it's real good.
Also the I had it in my head and it's gone now.
Oh, butterbeer.
Oh,
that reminded me. Carillion Ale in Star Wars. It's brought up a lot as like the beer of choice for a lot of characters, and
yeah,
I've always wondered, like, wonder what that tastes like. Like, what kind of beer does this taste like?
Butterbeer is another one.
But you can have that doesn't count though. You can have butterbeer.
Can you have butterbeer?
You can go to like the well, not now because of coronavirus, but you can go to
But it does not actually.
But the way they describe it in the books is not at all what it tastes like at Universal.
Okay, it counts. Okay, whatever, fine.
Because it's more of an ale
You could
in the
put
book.
more LSD in it if you really wanted
I feel like it is in
to replicate the magical
I
effects.
feel like in the books it is actually literally a little.
Jacob,
What?
Wizard's Mind Bomb.
Oh, yeah!
What?
There's the food.
Yeah, the RuneScape references. Yeah, we got there.
Food.
We
That's
got there.
how
Eating a shark in one bite. An entire shark in one bite.
It's called a
Oh.
Wizard's Mind Bomb?
No. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's-
Wizard's Mind Bomb, also known as WMB, is a drink which temporarily boosts a player's magic levels. It also has a series of negative effects on the player's melee combat skills. It's one of the items used on the door in the Dwarven Mine during Dragon Slayer.
There was a huge
Are
No,
you
I started that sentence.
This?
I started that sentence completely wrong. There was a period of time where a way for like low level players to make money was to buy jugs of wine off of the Grand Exchange, which is like basically the stock market and kind of in RuneScape, where you can buy like a ton of items like from anyone. So you would buy jugs of wine and then you would drink them. And then you fill the jugs of wine with water, and you could make like it was like 5 or 10. I think at one point it got as high as 16 gold per like jug profit, because the jugs of water were worth more because people put grapes in jugs of water and that increases your cooking level. But you would like drink all the wine like at once, and your combat stats would go like all to 0 because you were drunk as shit like on wine.
I mean, that's not how
Except
I
it
made
never
my-
it
made
didn't
money.
it didn't negatively affect magic. It only affected your melee combat stats.
So what they're saying is you can be an alcoholic and a mage.
Wizard.
You can't be an alcoholic and a
Oh,
barbarian.
You still can. There's other drinks that boost your strength stat, but they reduce your accuracy. So you hit harder, but less accurate.
I think the regular beer does that.
Yeah, and I think there's Dwarven Stout.
Stout.
Now, do
That's
either
out.
of you remember what Wizard Mind Bombs taste like?
I've never read an item description.
We've never tasted it, so no.
Well, but it's
not
okay.
real.
According to Gelinor's Flora Hops, which is the 3rd volume of the Glenorra's Flora series of books in the game, its taste has been compared to warmed tap water with a lot of fizz.
Also, it's warm seltzer water, and it makes you really magical.
Apparently,
We gotta buy
it's,
seltzer
you know
water.
what? It's basically LaCroix.
Seltzer water. Seltzer
It's
water.
for-
I'm gonna do magic.
The other thing, since we're talking about beer that doesn't really exist, I feel like we should mention Deep Rock Galactic. Just
Oh yeah.
all the
What?
beers that give you all the like weird powers. And then there's like a beer that's like elf something, and it like takes away all your powers.
Have either of you played the board game Red Dragon Inn?
Yes, and I won.
Once
One
a
time.
long time ago.
All of the drinks in Red Dragon Inn look wild, and I'm so about it. Hold on, and they have stuff like Dwarven Ale, Elven Wine, but there's the stuff like the like Orcish Firewater, and like, hold on, I'm trying to find the list of drinks.
Wild. So while she's doing that, Jacob, wild is when Brenna says wild, it's like when you say crazy or when I say crazy, because we both like crazy. But every time Brenna says wild, it doesn't remind me of you saying crazy. It reminds me of the opening of Time Crisis.
Wild dog.
Wild dog.
How does that mean?
Yeah.
What a great opening though. That's like one of my favorite video game openings of all time. The President's Daughter. Something, fuck, I don't even remember.
I think
Rachel.
one of the reasons is like in a lot of
Rachel
media,
McPherson.
food is
That's her
not
name. That's the
addressed,
daughter.
like, yeah. Like, there was one time I know, like, Tony Stark eats donuts in Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, he eats everything in Iron Man. Like, that's just Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, and she's like there's not a lot of food representation in like, you know, and same in D&D. Like, I haven't talked about, because, you know, the social and the combat are like all that people need.
See,
really, except for the very first session they were at a feast and the food was poisoned. So
in our D&D game, in the one that in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition campaign, it is a running joke that the first session you're in, we always meet at the like local tavern called Fame's Fortune, which is run by an old adventurer who now runs this tavern, and he makes this soup. And it's a joke now that you roll a d20 and you have to pass a Constitution check. If you pass the Constitution check, you're all about this soup. This soup is the best. And if you roll, if you don't pass the con check, no good. Soup's bad. And mind you, this soup is actually terrible. The soup has like bones and frog eyes and like weird floating bits in it that like it's whatever Hassan can find. Yeah. But, like, for example, I have one character, I have 2 characters in this campaign, and one of my characters loves it, and she akins it to, like, soup from home because they're from the same homeland. And then there's my other one who's, like, who hates the soup.
I promise that I'm listening, but Jacob's face
to
react to that was way better than Claire's face. Because Claire reacts to it, she's like, stop, it's weird. Jacob's reaction is 1,000 times better. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go rewind and watch me while I was describing that. I promise I was listening.
Noticed.
No, and that's the thing is, like, if they don't pass the con check, they have a bowl of soup with one of the weird objects in it, like an eye. Like in
Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, soup, and it like they're like, oh, great soup, and then it's like an eyeball in it or something.
Yeah, it's like that. But he's just a guy who can't cook, who's just doing his best.
So on the other end, in terms of food that I would never want to eat or come within 100 yards of, all of the food in Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Correct.
All of it.
Another great example of this is from Oh Hello on Broadway, Too Much Tuna.
What?
So John Mulaney and Nick Kroll did a 2-man show.
Okay.
They've done this for a while. They play 2 older men who are best friends from New York, Gil Faison and George St. Geegland, and they have a local cable access Broadway show or local cable access show called Too Much Tuna, where they interview celebrities and then give them a sandwich that's about this much tuna. It is
horrible.
Yeah, and the sandwich they do in the show is they put it in the rafters for the actual Broadway show. Just go watch. It's on Netflix.
Okay, while Brenna is archiving this again as our resident looker-upper of things.
Jesus,
I need to look things up. I'm good at it. I'm so sorry.
She refuses to just be ignorant about things like Jacob and I. Like, yeah, the iPhone came out in 2009 or something like that.
I looked at that.
Yeah, you did. The next episode, you brought it up. Yeah. Where was I going? Shit. I spent too long on the joke.
Bad food?
Yeah, it was something about bad food. I don't remember. I spent too long setting up the joke in my mind before getting to the point.
What is this? This is a direct link to the image.
What have I seen?
That sounds dangerous.
So this isn't food that I don't want, but
why?
It's too much tuna.
Oh, D&D. I remembered.
Okay.
Since you guys both brought up food in D&D, the only time food has come into play in the campaign that I was running and need to restart because not restart but resume because my wedding got in the way. Is the mushrooms from the bar. And I know I talked about this on the show.
Oh,
The mushrooms that our rogue ate and then got really high and then almost killed himself. And so they had to tie him to a chair. And then they tied the other end of the rope to the barbarian and he just like or the dragonborn, and he just like dragged them around. And then he got mad that he wasn't in the fight because he was high on mushrooms.
And he became a true dragonborn.
Jacob, fuck you.
I
Also, food is brought up in the opening of the first session because the murder that takes place happens across the street from Halfling Bakery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had a cute moment. My mage in that campaign got cinnamon in, and he was keeping it as like a fun secret for himself. So the two of them would sometimes, like, because she worked at the bar too. She was one of the waitresses at the bar. So because in our D&D game, between sessions we actually have jobs and like downtime, and you have to make money and like live in a world. I have 3 lives.
So going off of Jacob saying
Yeah.
vaguely racist things in every episode of the Dr. Z show, since we've shown our faces.
episode.
Almost. Not really.
Dang it, you're gonna
But
force me to rewatch everything and be like.
I feel like anytime there's like a vaguely Indian or Middle Eastern influence in any character, in any like piece of media, someone is always named Hassan.
He's technically like Russian is more of his inspiration, because the accent is like, literally, to get into the accent, our DM Nick will say, "I am big Russian man." Okay. And then like do the Hassan voice.
No, I get that. I just like it.
But you're not wrong.
You said Hassan, and I was like, that name sounds really familiar. But I don't know anyone named Hassan. But there's always like a.
It's one of those like generic names that people use. Yeah.
This isn't media in the sense of like fictional media, but I really want to try the run of Hot Wings from Hot Ones.
Oh, Hot Ones is. I want to be on that show. Just eat wings. I won't answer any of your questions.
It will destroy you. You're aware of that, right? It would destroy you.
I will break you.
I've eaten scorpion peppers raw.
Neat.
Okay, understand that.
Raw.
You would also make raw.
You also you both know. But also you both know how much I love hot food.
You do.
Spicy food.
For some reason, despite everything.
Yeah, my Crohn's is like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, shut up! It's good!
Just let me have this!
Anyway, point. Oh, also, speaking of hot, why does the hot salsa at Taco Bell taste better than the fire sauce? Why is the hot sauce better?
No, fire sauce tastes way better than everything else they have, but their ghost pepper sauce is junk.
I don't need the hot sauce at Taco Bell. I have no...
Jacob, what the fuck is... What? Get out!
It's better, hands down.
Get out!
I tried when I was like... I went to Taco Bell in my youth, and I tried everything, and I was like, fire sauce is the best.
Remember that time when we were coming back from Ocean City, and I ate the entire 12-pack of tacos when they had the Taco 12-pack?
I do not remember that, but I did something similar freshman year of college.
I don't think I ate breakfast. I don't think I ate breakfast that whole trip, except the one day we went out to breakfast and it was like way expensive. We were like, fuck no. No, we came back from, him and I and a friend of ours who we went to Ocean City for like beach week or whatever after we graduated. And on the way back, okay, we're getting there. Yeah, on the way back, they had the Taco 12-pack, and I was like, I'm going to eat the whole thing. And they were both like, no, you're not. And I was like, I'll show you.
It's
And
a
then I
challenge.
promptly like went to sleep for the next 2 hours.
Candyland. All of Candyland. Like, I don't even like licorice, but that licorice river, though,
I always thought that licorice looked like very unpleasant to eat. Like it was well designed, but I always
it
thought
looks like
was
chocolate fudge.
I have diabetes.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to be into it.
Would you be a pariah in the world of Candyland?
He'd work for the licorice lord.
No, Candyland.
Eunuch.
No, but Candyland
this
is
is
populated equally by villains. So half of them would be.
this is the hard hitting questions we get to on the Dr. Z
Only
show.
here on the Dr. Z show. Stay tuned.
Would having diabetes make you a pariah in the land in Candyland?
You'd be like a leper.
They'll cast you out like a leper. So we haven't gotten. So this has just been media for 40
Yeah.
minutes because we spent 6 minutes talking about nothing. We spent a lot of time talking about nothing.
It's kind
So,
of the whole, this whole
okay, so
podcast.
well, something I definitely wanted. The episodes just get longer and longer. I listened to one of the early episodes and I was like, "Whoa, 15 minutes! Like, what the heck?"
that's
Now
the
they're like an
first
hour and a
five
half easy.
Weird. It's
Uh-huh.
almost like we're like friends and we're getting like comfortable like talking to each other and stuff like that.
We're getting comfortable talking to each other. Okay, you know that all three of us are way too comfortable talking to each other.
You're not.
We're
wrong.
just-
I mean,
We're
on
just smarter
the
because we're on
recording.
record.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm saying.
That sounded vaguely like it was going in a really terrible direction. But anyway, not the point. Let's put all that in a closet somewhere and not open that door, because then all the stuff falls on you and you die.
That's only
Best,
hide vending machines in your closet.
best, objectively, not because you like it, but best snack to eat while gaming and why, Jacob?
It's the worst to do mechanically, but Flamin' Hot Cheetos are like the perfect.
Get the fuck out of my face.
It's-
No, get the fuck out of my face. You
it's
get the
the
Cheeto dust
perfect-
everywhere.
No,
Wrong.
that's what I say.
Messy.
Mechanically, but taste-wise, it is perfect because it's
It's
like
bad.
It's garbage.
it's savory and hot, like
They're garbage.
enough that like it like really like wakes you up and makes you. Because the
Cheetos
thing is,
are
I don't-
It gives I'm gonna get way too personal about this, and this is gonna be way too much information. So, like, skip ahead 10 or 15 seconds when I finally get to it. Eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos gives you diarrhea that looks like fire.
I
I don't
So
get
your
there.
opinion means nothing to me now.
It gives you
hate processed cheese. Like, except with the exception of like cheese, like nacho cheese Doritos, the flavor of like cheese-based products.
Oh,
such
you're
as
still like saying that Cheetos suck.
So,
Okay, I was like,
such as
where is this going with
Cheetos-
the best snack to eat?
cheese puffs, cheese whiz, Velveeta.
Okay,
Garbage.
I'm talking specifically about
Yeah,
gaming, like video gaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
To-
I agree with
to
you
clear-
that Jacob's
to clear that up.
objectively wrong and his opinion's bad. For me,
Objective and subjectively wrong. How wrong can you get? Two kinds of
so
wrong.
I think, in terms of both mechanically and flavor-wise, as a flavor profile, I think something like trail mix or like a granola mix is the best.
But then your hands get all salty and like weird and oily
Well,
and
that's gonna happen no matter what food you're eating,
Unless you
right?
have-
With the exception of
No.
like banana chips.
If you have the little tube and you're like down in it.
a fork.
Trail mix with a fork, you monster.
You can eat trail mix with a spoon if you're really
They
that
suck
fucking
me. Soup. Soup.
soup. Soup is good.
Mechanically and taste wise, if you like soup, soup is the best thing to do because you could just drink it. You could drink it.
Yeah,
Like from a thermos or something. You're just like soup. Soup.
yeah.
Soup.
I don't know. I love a good banana chip or just a general potato chip as well when I game.
But what if you spill
But then
the
your hands get all oily from the potato chips.
Not from, yes, from potato chips,
Like
yes, but
Hunter-
from banana chips, no. They're light, they're crunchy, they give you a good texture, they're sweet. I can crush a whole bag of banana chips.
This is the this is the
I feel
that's
like
the
I'm
American
contact-
Sign Language sign for banana chips.
No, I feel like I'm doing contact juggling with no fushigi.
So okay, so I'm gonna say
Spicy
pizza
food
rolls.
when I'm doing things that are intense.
You want spicy?
Why are you gaming in a tent? We've had this conversation before. Get
What?
out of the tent,
You need to
sit
get
in your
outside.
chair.
Okay. Sometimes you need to
This is bad for us. We should,
share when you're playing
be
Super
playing
Smash.
outside.
That's what
Melee.
But
Old
like I
hat,
said, mechanically, it's awful. Like,
Yeah, I don't want
That's
to
not
eat things
just
that are
mechanic.
spicy. I mean, like pizza.
I mean, you're wrong. Like, you're bad and you should feel bad.
No,
Spicy
we'll be
food
right
is-
okay,
back.
mechanically
is the
best
best.
food to eat though.
I
I
have
agree
to-
on
I have to
trail-
go
I agree on like
first.
something healthy, like the right amount of like
She's so angry.
fat and sugar content and protein content. Like trail mix, great idea.
No, I agree. I agree with the trail mix idea being pretty okay. So what is your favorite food to eat while gaming? You're like, you got to do this. It's the best.
I mean, there's
Food and let's say food and coupled with a drink.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, I don't eat very often while gaming for the simple reason of wanting to keep my hands clean. But I don't know. I drink a lot of water, more than anything. So
I'll go first. What I used to eat all the time while gaming, you know this. What I used to eat all the time while gaming was popcorn, and I drank Arnold Palmer because I didn't want as much caffeine as in the Diet Coke. So I'd have popcorn and Arnold Palmer. There's actually a picture of me on Facebook from a long time ago when I used to play StarCraft 2 like competitively, like amateur competitively, but like of holding a giant bowl of popcorn and like a 2 liter of Arnold Palmer.
I mean,
And
that
being
was like
yes,
that was
food for the night. Like,
that was like your snack all the time for a while.
and now because of our living situation and not really having a kitchen, I don't make popcorn as I used to. But we went apartment hunting today, and I was like, sweet, a gas stove, another kitchen I can burn down, popcorn, all the time now. Like, really.
A sort of ongoing joke though, when it comes to gaming snacks for me though, is eel fudge sandwich cookies from like
yeah.
Those are just good. You reignited my love for elf fudge cookies
At the wedding.
by having them at the wedding. Cause
Yeah, Claire was real upset that they were in the background of those pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the point either. So the question was, what is your favorite food drink combination to eat while gaming? Specifically video games, which I know you don't play a lot of, but specifically video games. Because if it's a board game or you're watching TV
well, yeah, that's a totally
or you're
separate thing.
consuming other nerd media, you could just get a
So,
fuck, wash your hands like whatever.
Vanilla Coke and potato chips. But that's my answer for most things because it's like my favorite snack food.
That's true.
I keep a paper towel on me in case I get too greasy to like use the mouse comfortably or type comfortably.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm imagining you with like a little holster, like on your belt, like in little paper towels.
Also,
Like a Batman utility belt, but
also like for bonus points, throw in like individually wrapped Kit Kats. I feel like that's the most me answer that is physically possible. Is like a vanilla Coke, individually wrapped, bite-sized Kit Kats, and Lay's wavy potato chips.
the wavy chips are objectively better than
Objectively
non-wavy
better
chips.
than the regular because they have a much better crunch. The oil is more controlled. The salt levels are better. They just have a better texture.
Not sponsored by any potato chips or
But
Kit
we
Kats or
could
anything.
be. Cape Cod chips are also great.
On the Jacob is objectively and subjectively wrong and evil campaign, I like the normal ones more than wavy are better structurally for dipping, hands like for sure, but I don't like dealing with all that crunch.
So I'm not saying
what if
I
you're-
will
You don't
not
like
eat
dealing.
regular
What is it? What does that mean? You don't like dealing with all that crunch?
It's
Like, what do you
too
mean
much work.
dealing?
God,
So
my mouth.
I do when I want something brittle. Because I do love regular chips as well. I feel like that's really important. Regular Lay's chips are also better. They're also objectively better than Utz chips in general. Can we
Yes.
talk about that for a second? Utz is garbage. That is all. And maybe I have a personal vendetta against it because it's all my parents would buy in terms of potato chips. But
So the show is going in a weird direction.
it also tasted like Utz potato chips tasted like cardboard air. I don't know how to describe it. It's just bad. But Lay's regular potato chips, they do like shatter in like a satisfying way when you eat them. Like you can easily
They
break it with your
shatter
mouth.
in a satisfying way.
Jacob knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
Thank
like
you.
it's like the same feeling when you break the hopes and dreams of the youth of tomorrow.
Exactly.
Okay, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a delicate like snap.
We sound like weird, kind of like liches or something. Like yes, like physical food is great, but so is like the emotional despair from.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I do solely subsist off of the hopes and dreams of unicorns and small children. That is how I function.
Just so you know, if you are looking for unicorns, like it's Brenna's fault. They're gone.
I'm so sorry. I've eaten them all. I've sucked their souls and their hopes and dreams out of them. You know, that unicorn really wanted to win the Kentucky Derby one day? Too bad.
Does it make a good wine though? Like,
I don't
can
know.
you ferment it over time?
Hopes and dreams?
Yes.
I feel like if you're going to ferment hopes and dreams, unicorn hopes and dreams are
We're not even roasting him, and he's very angry.
I'm not angry. I'm just like,
he's not
who
mad.
the fuck are
He's
you?
just-
It looked.
He's not mad. He's
It
just
was very
disappointed.
similar, like not quite the same face, but it was kind of a similar face to when you're like, just like, when are they gonna be done?
This
Like,
face-
when are they
this
gonna
face-
be done?
yeah.
That's why. Yeah, I'm like, when do we stop? Like,
We can
make
stop
it stop.
Okay,
It's
Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild has a great list of recipes and stuff. Like,
They're great until you watch the Polygon
Yeah.
video about it.
um,
Because Brian David Gilbert did a whole episode on recreating all of the Breath of the Wild recipes as they are written in the game.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Stop.
it's very fun.
yeah, 'cause the thing is, a lot of them don't include like salt or pepper or like anything. So like,
And there's a couple of recipes that have like butter and salt. He's like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Like the bread that should be objectively terrible.
Okay. So we talked about preferred snacks
Yeah,
for
for
media,
gaming
in
itself.
media. I don't know if there's anything else.
What is something you wish you could eat while gaming?
That I wish. I mean,
Prime rib.
I mean, you can eat anything while gaming, of course, but like something you wish like you could eat with no consequences.
ramen.
Oh, eat with no consequences.
Not
Let me think of like
not that,
No.
Jacob.
No, here's
So it's like
my thing.
uranium.
So the reason why I say ramen is because for some reason, and I don't know what it is that I do. I need to fix how I eat ramen noodles apparently, but I get the broth everywhere. Just little splatters of the broth always go everywhere whenever I eat it.
Just bad at eating. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Apparently, but it's so like ramen is such a delicious food. It's probably my favorite food. And I mean like good ramen. I don't mean top ramen. Like I will happily eat top ramen, like 89-cent
Fighting words.
monstrosities. But like when I say ramen, I mean you go to a restaurant and you order a bowl of tonkatsu and you enjoy it.
Dang, now I want ramen, you monster.
I'm so sorry. I mean, you can still go get it. Like, you've got time.
I do, but also I looked at my arm with like there's not much. No.
I love doing that to people because I do it all the time.
You know, oh my god.
I do that. I do it all the time when I talk to people.
Times,
Like, yeah. I mean, you've got time, and people always either think I'm insane, like Mad Hatter style, like, oh, look at the time, or they just are like, you're funny, and I don't care which reaction I get because I find it amusing. And I'm never gonna wear a watch because I hate wearing things on my left hand.
Prime, like
Yeah.
Prime rib.
prime rib, like good horseradish.
Mm.
It'd be great. The Kroger released a brand of chips that's like prime rib and horseradish flavor.
I've had them.
They're good.
I bought them anticipating they'd be garbage, and they weren't. Anthony doesn't know what Kroger is.
I know what Kroger is. It's a grocery store. I'm not completely stupid.
That's
That's not stupidity. It's ignorance. But like,
You had that look on your face, like, what are you talking about? So I assumed.
I know what Kroger
Ohio.
is.
Ohio. Okay.
Okay. Don't out me like that. All right.
Don't
All right. I'm
out
not
me
going to not going to the moon.
How would you rate your outing? What is your
3
outing?
out of 100.
Thank you for filling out our survey. You've been entered to a 1 in 500 chance for
Trying
a
to go to the moon.
They also so this wasn't Kroger brand though, but Lay's one of the chip types that they released a little bit ago was deep dish pizza, and that was also crazy delicious.
Okay.
It tasted like pizza, like really, really like pizza. Not
Can I
like,
get in on one thing that I wish that I could eat while gaming?
Yes.
Sort of along the lines of Jacob's thing, steak. I
I
fucking
just-
love steak.
Just cut it all up beforehand. Like that's.
But
an
no,
easy
like
fix.
no, I mean like a steak at like you get like at a fancy restaurant. Like I can't make I can make pretty good steak, but I can't make a steak like I would order at a restaurant that's like fucking like cowboy ribeye like size, like with the butter melting on it, all the
I mean,
I can't do that at home. I'm just not a I consider myself a good cook, but I like Italians and steaks, so that's not like a thing.
now I
So steak, like
I
a
get
high
that.
class steak. Like
high class steak. I get that. We have a place here in Lexington that delivers steak. It's called the Columbia Steakhouse. I've
all right,
never
hold on,
tried
I'm
it.
moving to Lexington. Bye.
I have not tried it, so I don't know if it's good.
Okay, in that case, it's probably terrible. I'm sorry.
Sorry guys, don't start any team fights until I get my steak. Sorry.
Yeah, guys, we gotta make sure. Like we can't keep up.
I
going
gotta
on my
be.
second-
My
gotta
steak
have
is
some
here. I gotta be. My steak is here. What? What is
So
he
I
talking
have
about?
a question that can be an interesting.
Is it related to food?
It is.
Okay, so as long as we're on topic.
Going back a little bit to the potato chips.
Oh, God.
Do you dip potato chips in anything people would
No.
think is weird?
You don't dip potato chips. No.
But have you?
No. Because you don't dip potato chips. That's what tortilla chips. That's why tortilla chips were invented.
You know what? Then maybe
You can't convince me otherwise.
So you
Tortilla
have
chips are for
cream
dipping.
and onion dip with tortilla chips.
you can't eat sour cream and onion.
You
Right.
can't convince me otherwise.
So Jacob, it looks like this is a conversation between us.
Can't change my mind. Tortilla chips are for dipping.
Okay, weird thing. This is nachos.
Regular potato chips are weak.
Nachos and like we have these tortilla chips that have like extra like seasoning on them or something like that. I don't know what seasoning it was, but there's this pale ale mustard from Trader Joe's that is awesome. It tastes so good, and for some reason it goes really, really good on nachos.
That's
I
interesting.
don't normally. I just thought it was really good, and I was like,
I
I
bring this up because I've definitely been called like a blaspheme for
Okay,
some of the
hold
things
on.
I did with my potato chips.
So let me get this straight. You're asking a question on the show
Yes.
because you want validation
No,
on
I'm
your
just
weirdness.
curious. I'm curious if other people do things that are similar. I don't need validation. I just I'm just curious.
I have eaten cottage cheese with tortilla chips.
Oh, what the fuck, Jacob?
So
Cottage cheese?
cottage cheese needs salt, and sometimes it's good.
Okay.
It depends on the cottage cheese. Some cottage cheese, like certain brands of cottage cheese, are just bad, hands down, awful, taste gross. And then other brands of cottage cheese are awesome and taste wonderful.
This is the kind of content I was looking for. This is what I was looking for.
And sometimes you need certain fruits to pair with it that go well.
Unrelated but related to the food thing, did you ever eat the rest of those dragon pudding jello things?
Oh no, we threw them out. Oh gosh.
What?
Oh,
You don't know?
No.
Oh, right, because you don't watch the show that we're on right now, that we're recording.
I do sometimes.
I need your loyalty, Brenna. Murder me. But there was an episode where I tried these, like, we saw these puddings because they put out, like, Snack Pack put out these, like, dragon and unicorn puddings, but there was no listed flavor. They were just listed as, like, red and green.
What?
No flavor. It was like red and green dragon magic was the flavor that was listed. And we tried it. I tried like a little tiny spoonful of it, and it was
the face he makes as soon as he puts it in his mouth is hands down one of my favorite horrible things.
It's so
on the planet. Also, on that note, so a lot of places sell like weird novelty items.
Hold on.
Let me get there. I'm gonna narrow it down real fast. So we were at MagFest in 2012. A group of friends went to MagFest, and one of them bought bacon flavored soda, which
awful, gross, disgusting.
Hold on. Obviously, though, it's a novelty item. You like put it on your shelf somewhere, and you're like, oh, hey, look at this bacon.
Like, same with like the ranch dressing one, yeah.
Like, right, like, ha ha ha, like, this is funny, like, look at it, it's bacon, but it's soda. This motherfucker opens the bottle and takes a drink out of it, and his face just, like, drains of all color, and he's just like... And you could tell it was the worst decision he's ever made in his life up to that point. But, and, like... He like pulls the soda away from his mouth and just weakly like looks at the group of us, like filming him obviously because it's hilarious. Like weakly like looks at the group of the rest of us and is like, "Does anyone want to try it?" We're like, "No!" The face you just made was the worst thing we've ever seen in our lives. Like, of course we don't want to try it. He ended up throwing it out. He threw it away. He threw the whole thing away. What a waste!
When bacon flavored everything was so popular.
Okay.
It was the worst.
This is the hill that I will die on. This is a hill that I will die on. Bacon is not that good.
Bacon's fine. It's not great.
It's fine. It's not that good though.
It has
it's not
its place.
I need bacon. It's fine.
It has its place. It's not in everything. Okay. So I'm now looking. I've feasted my eyes on this pudding, by the way. So you'd think that they'd at least have tried, right? So they had the Dragon Treasure and Unicorn Magic snack pack puddings.
Red and green.
You'd think they would have at least tried to differentiate the flavors, right?
No, they're named by
reference. For
They
reference,
are
trying to eat chocolate.
They are Sweet Green Emerald and Ruby Red. For both of them. But only on the dragon ones are they red and green. On the Unicorn Magic ones, hold on, wait, maybe they are different flavors?
See, Brenna, you would have known all this information already.
Yeah, if I'd already looked at them.
The show. So everyone that's watched that episode of the show knows what you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm just learning about this now. Whatever. I don't want princess kisses in my pudding.
That sounds like...
On the Unicorn Magic. On the Unicorn Magic one, it's made with real milk, fairy dust, and princess kisses for magically delicious flavor.
That sounds like it's just made of drugs. Like, those just all sound like names of drugs that shouldn't be ingested by human beings.
Also, there's no flavor
Meghan Markle.
in the Unicorn Magic one.
Pudding.
No,
flavor.
there's no flavor listed on any of them.
Well, okay, it tastes like joy and rainbow sprinkles.
No.
Is what
No.
the Unicorn Magic one is gonna taste like.
Advertising.
But what the most upsetting part of the Unicorn Magic one in particular is on it, it has hashtag Yas Unicorn with 3 S's.
Okay, Jacob, you were gonna say something when I brought up bacon soda.
Yes. Let's
Uh,
continue.
My feelings on bacon are most people don't cook it well,
Correct.
and that's just how it be.
Fair.
I almost always do get bacon at like restaurants where you have a choice of like sausage, like if we're getting a breakfast menu thing, and it's like bacon or sausage or whatever, or ham sometimes. Bacon's usually the best option.
Yeah, well, and I think that's also because, again, like so many of those breakfast places don't know how to cook a good breakfast sausage.
Yeah. So something I was wondering about, and there are videos on YouTube of people doing reviews of these things. So like the best nerd themed food item, like Mario gummies or like Zelda candy or
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see where you're going.
I know the best thing that I've had is probably like those like Kinder Egg chocolate things if they have like a toy inside.
Yeah.
Only if they've had the toy.
I just mean if it's like if it's a themed snack, like the chocolate is still good quality or like good enough quality. I'm not like disappointed. Some of those candies and stuff, they're like chalky. They're kind of like weird mix between like Smarties and I'm trying to think Smarties and like
Sweet tarts?
yeah, kind of an in between for those is how a lot of those candies are.
Eh.
And the
Okay.
shaped containers, the containers shaped like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any? I was wondering, have you all had anything that was
The closest
objectively
thing
better?
the closest thing that I've even had to like a themed food, like a video game themed food, was I was at somebody's house and I spent the night and I woke up in the morning and the only cereal they had, the only like breakfast food they had was cereal. So already like they're on my shit list. But the only breakfast cereal that they had was Lucio's.
Oh,
We got those for Alex.
So I had Lucio's and they were just like they were fine, like Cheerios. Like,
I
whatever.
mean, like I've
Well,
had like
I'm sure-
I've had like Birdie Boss every flavored bean.
Oh yeah, those are gross.
Yeah, they're terrible. All of the flavors are terrible. Even like the strawberry flavors are terrible. They're just bad.
I'm not a big jelly bean person. Same
I'm
reason I
not
don't like really
either.
like not Jolly Ranchers, what are those
Laffy Taffy?
Hi, good night.
no, they're square. Starburst. I don't know why I
I don't like
confuse them with Jolly Ranchers. I don't like them because they get stuck in my molars and I'm like
Okay.
doing
yeah.
this like all fucking day. I'm like,
Yeah.
get the shit out of there.
I mean, and like, like
I'm the worst, I know.
Disney World also has like all of those terrible, like themed candies, and they're all bad. But yeah, I don't know. I try to avoid like the themed kitschy candies, just because more often than not, the focus and the pull of them is the
Visual.
visual, the branding, all of that, not the
I think-
actual product.
I think what a good idea for like if you were gonna make like a video game themed candy, I think the best idea would be like rock candy for
Mhm.
Minecraft. Like
Yeah.
Minecraft rock candy.
Yeah, like little
And not
squares.
just like stones, but like diamond is like a different flavor and gold
Yeah,
is a flavor
and you
like
could do the little
emeralds are a
square-
flavor. Like
Yeah,
exactly.
it'd be
I think
cute.
that's $1 million idea.
Now, I think to round out this episode, I have found a top 10 list online of the 10 most essential nerd foods.
If Mountain Dew and Doritos are on this list, I automatically disqualify this list.
I
It
count.
is from a website called Topless Robot, and it's from 2011.
Free
Okay.
robots from the short tyranny.
Number 10,
So huge grain of salt with this.
huge
but,
grain of
alright.
salt. Oh god, the biggest. Number 10, Pringles.
Pizza Pringles are the bomb.
These
Side
Pringles
note.
are great. I just like regular Pringles too. I'm a big Pringles fan. Number 9, Easy Cheese and Ritz crackers.
Easy
That-
cheese is like the cheese, like
It's
canned
it's like
cheese.
cheese whiz, but not really.
Here's
Yeah,
the
it's
reason, because it's actual cheese. I know
That-
that sounds scary, but
it
like
doesn't
you
make it
look at the
better.
ingredients, it's like it's just straight up. It's just normal cheese.
Admit
Weird.
it. At one time or another, we've all opened wide for a mouthful of pressurized cheesy goodness delivered via this magnificent invention. And naturally, no salute to Easy Cheese would be complete without a nod to its life partner, the humble Ritz cracker. Perfect for
Before you
humble
actually
Ritz.
mentioned the name of the food that you were describing, it sounds 100% to me like a weird sex thing. And like I'm
Yes.
just like that,
Yes.
and just, that's where my mind went. But no, I don't think
Yeah.
any of the three of us have had. No, Jacob just said he did, but I would never eat cheese from a can.
No, it's good.
I have
It,
eaten
it is
and
it is beneath me.
I tried it on a whim, and I was like, "Wait, this doesn't taste like garbage." How?
Easy Cheese is the least garbage of those cheeses, but it doesn't make it
Yeah,
good.
there's another one of the.
Adjacent to refuse is still refuse.
It depends on the brand, because like it's kind of like the cottage cheese thing. Like certain brands of cottage cheese are nasty, and then certain
Cottage
brands
cheese
like
is
Swedish
bad.
cheese are also nasty. But
Cottage cheese is just bad though.
Number 8.
you gotta get a good, you have to get a good brand.
Number 8. SpaghettiOs.
I don't trust this list anymore. Not
Number 7.
I've had
Twinkies.
SpaghettiOs. They're not great. Twinkies
no.
is on this list? Why
Yes.
is Twinkies on this list?
The noble Twinkie. We don't know what they're made of. We don't want to know. Fact is, they are the food of nerd gods, as
No,
are the
they're
rest
fucking
of their hostess brethren.
What
Except
the fuck?
Snowballs, nobody seems to like them. Bonus geek
My mom
cred
loves them. Fact.
for a vital role these golden goodies played in the recent film Zombieland.
Okay, so now we really know how old this list is.
2011. Number 6.
Twinkies?
I don't know.
They're
Number
so
6.
like dry.
Bagel bites and pizza rolls are tied.
cool. That's
Yeah.
That's the only accurate thing on the list. Well,
Number
and
5.
And you gotta eat them with a fork. So you don't get the
Uh,
junk on your hands while you're
And so you
gaming.
don't burn your fingers. Number
No,
5.
you gotta no, hold on. You gotta put the whole thing in your mouth and just like a fucking breathe fire like a dragon. You cannot blow on pizza rolls. You just be a man, even if you're a woman, just put the whole fucking thing in your mouth. Just take it.
Or somewhere in between.
Fact. Okay.
We have to be inclusive.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess
You're
we
right.
don't have to be, but we'd be assholes if we weren't.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Number 5. Pocky.
I've never had
certain
Pocky.
type of nerd. Okay. Yeah,
It's good.
I can see that.
It's good.
I've never eaten Pocky.
Pocky's good.
The last the last sentence of the Pocky, I'm just gonna read you the whole.
Here I am touching my face during coronavirus.
Uh-oh.
I know, I'm so bad about it. A hearty konnichiwa to our numerous Japanophile
I'm
readers.
already done.
You didn't think we could possibly leave these out, did you?
I'm
For the
already done.
benefit of the uninitiated.
I
Pocky
don't wanna watch
is a
anime.
cookie-like substance dipped in chocolate, strawberry cream, and other flavors. They're pretty much the Japanese version of cookies, which makes them nerdier, which has led them to becoming popular enough that most large supermarkets carry them, usually in the ethnic food aisle. They go great with a bottle of weird-ass Japanese soda with the ball in the neck.
Ass.
Ramen
soda.
is good.
Not great.
Ramen
That is the
Uh,
There is
most
a hyphen
race.
between weird-ass.
Okay, that is the most racist thing that has ever been said on the show. Jacob, I forgive you for any
Absolved of my crimes.
For now.
For now. Number 4, Hot Pockets. Sure.
Hot Pockets are an adventure because every bite of Hot Pockets is a different temperature. Eating Hot Pockets is the worst. It's the worst kind of adventure that you can go on. Every bite is a different temperature. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
So I'm laughing because no matter how long you put it in the microwave for, there's always a cold bite. I don't know why.
My experience with Hot Pockets growing up was very different, though, because we always cut it into 8 pieces afterwards. So, like,
Because there were 8 of you.
no, because I don't know.
Okay.
My mom was like, "You're kids. You need to eat these cleanly."
I have the blurb. The gold standard of culinary convenience.
This is
Hot
the
Pockets.
worst article. This is the worst article we've ever brought up on the Dr. Z show.
Okay, Pocky,
Hot Pockets
the
are
best Pocky. I have to interject.
Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you off. The best
Yeah.
Pocky is the double fudge one.
Yes.
And I think they might really only be available in Japan right now. But
Delicious.
out of all of the Pockies that I tried, that was the best.
I agree.
Never had Pocky. Don't know.
Hot Pockets are fast eclipsing TV dinners as the fair choice for those whose food preparation skills are somewhat remedial. Wondering why Hot Pockets are ranked ahead of bagel bites and pizza rolls?
Yes.
Because Hot Pockets can be made in the microwave. Yes.
You can make pizza rolls in the microwave.
They
They're not as good.
No, they address this. Yes, bagel bites and pizza rolls can be nuked too, but they taste horrible unless you put them in the oven.
Hot
But
Pockets
Hot
taste
Pockets-
horrible, period.
Hot Pockets don't taste any better in the oven, and they don't taste any worse in the microwave. Speed, convenience, apathy. Truly the nerd's most trustworthy, non-ready-to-eat food stuff.
This sounds like it was written by somebody who uses nerd as a derogatory term. That's where I'm getting this whole article now.
Number 3, Pop-Tarts. Yeah.
What?
No, I like Pop-Tarts.
No.
There was a period of time where I ate a lot of Pop-Tarts.
Wow.
This is a total ripoff of a joke I saw on Twitter, but we have the technology to frost the entire Pop-Tart. Frost the entire Pop-Tart.
We
have the technology.
I like the crust on Pop-Tarts.
No, you are so wrong. So wrong. No, that is the objectively the worst part. There's no
What?
filling, no frosting. It just tastes like bread.
Oh,
What?
I have
Like
That's
bad
why you have to
toasted
balance
bread.
it out. That's why you have to balance it out.
No.
You have to eat them.
Frost the whole
Hey.
thing.
I have a suggestion for like a clickbait version of the episode title that has nothing to do with anything we've talked about. It's like, watch it, like this man like loses his mind like over Pop-Tarts. All caps.
Watch us rant for an hour and a half. Okay, number 2.
Sure.
Doritos and Cheetos tie.
Really?
Mountain
Yeah.
Dew.
Yes, they make your hands.
Mountain Dew's gotta be number 1. Like,
Oh God. Okay. Question mark at the beginning of this. Yes, they make your hands an orange mess. Yes, they get cheese powder over everything you're nerding out with while eating. Yes, having a shirt covered in Dorito and Cheeto dust is the worst nerd stereotype there is. We all.
none of these
Because
things are
Doritos
true.
and Cheetos are fucking delicious and are more delicious to nerds than common folk for whatever reason. It is our lembas brains. It heals us and sustains us in a way no other food does. P.S. True nerd gourmands will purchase Munchies, the Frito-Lay snack mix, which contains Doritos, Cheetos, cheese-flavored Sun Chips, and pretzels in one decadent package. And they probably throw away the pretzels.
Okay,
I
a few things. A few things.
Yeah.
I used to work for Frito-Lay. I freely admit that. I never had Doritos until I worked for them. And I didn't work for them until I was like 24. I never had Doritos before. I had them and I was like, these are fine. And then I had the spicy ones and I was like, these are pretty good. So occasionally I have spicy Doritos. Number 2. What the fuck is this article? Like, where the fuck did you find this? Like, this is horrible.
I go in my attempt to find other like nerd-inspired candies, this article was the most recommended thing to me. And for whatever reason, the number one food on this list is a food I've already mentioned that you shouldn't eat while playing video games.
Ramen.
Ramen noodles.
So Mountain Dew isn't even on the list. This isn't a real list.
This is
I was going to disregard the list, but if Mountain Dew wasn't on it, but now I don't even respect this list because Mountain Dew isn't on it. I don't even like Mountain Dew, but it's not on the list. It's wrong. Ramen is number one.
If they're not on the list.
Over Pocky and Doritos, ramen is number one.
Hold on. Let's hear their reasoning. Let's hear them out, guys.
I don't give a fuck what their reason is. It's wrong.
Really, what else could it possibly have been? Every criteria is met by the magic that is ramen.
It could be literally any of the other things on the list. Except Pop-Tarts, maybe.
Inexpensive, usually around 50 cents a pack, even cheaper when bought in bulk. Easy
Where
to
the
prepare.
fuck is ramen 50 cents?
In 2011?
It's definitely 79 cents.
In 2011.
No, it depends on if it's like the cup, the pre-made cup thing, or if it's the package. Packaged ramen is often like 50 cents.
Easy to prepare.
Yeah.
You can boil water, you can cook ramen. Quick, less than 5 minutes total cooking time, quicker if microwave. Versatile. You can add nearly anything to them, and they come in quite an array of flavors. And all ramen diet maximizes the amount of money you can spend on your nerd pursuits, which is why it's number one. Although if you do this...
Sorry, did you say pursuits?
I did. I said it wrong. We're ignoring it. Although if you do this, you are such an idiot that you truly forgot to eat anything else. You will get scurvy in the 21st century. Really, I've seen it happen. Thanks, Rob. If you're fortunate enough to have an Asian grocer or specialty food store in your neighborhood, we highly recommend purchasing your ramen from them. They have a better selection, more unique flavors, and are only slightly more expensive. If you shop for ramen at a normal market, we recommend Maruchan. Now that's like an actual recommendation.
Okay.
So that's been Robots' top 10 most essential nerd foods list.
Okay, that was the worst article I've ever read in my life.
It was awful.
Or I've ever even heard of, because I didn't read it. But that was horrible. Everything they said was wrong.
Yeah.
The Oriental flavor if you're gonna have regular American ramen, the Oriental flavor is the best.
They are still going. Topless Robot's still going. Oh god.
Ramen?
They have a podcast now called the Topless Robot Podcast.
We'll fight them.
They just
I challenge Agni Kai at dawn. I challenge this podcast.
the Topless Robot Podcast.
We can take them.
Actually, we could totally take them.
Agni Kai at dawn.
No offense to these guys, but
offense to these guys.
They are what you think
pistols at high noon.
Of a neckbeard.
Oh man.
They are neckbeards.
I usually try to avoid finding specific people and shitting on them, but
I can't necessarily criticize them for something they wrote in 2011. Maybe maybe I'll listen to their podcast I'll report back. You know what? I'll listen to their podcast and I'll report back.
Because she's not gonna listen to ours.
Why am I gonna listen to this episode? I'm on it.
It's really unfortunate. They're just, it's unfortunate.
What?
I'm a bad person.
I'm
100% gonna criticize their appearance, but it looks unfortunate.
I was never.
If you're gonna have a visual element, at least look clean.
I was never planning on getting into an internet fight with someone over
a flame war, if you will.
Over our podcast, but who knows? Maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is how we
This is how we blow up.
Yeah. Remember those guys who got into a fight with Topless Robot? Man, their show really blew up after that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that voice was, and I never want to do it again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that voice was. I was like, "Where's
So
why?"
we can put that in the list of voices to exile, and that will go in with my gnome voice and stuff like that.
Jacob's strained redneck voice.
I will say these guys only have a slightly more prominent following than we do. Because I can say we know. They have
Fair.
967 subscribers.
That is a slightly larger number.
Like, it's not exceptional.
Still, like, I don't agree with this list at all. It's wrong. Like, it's objectively wrong. It was wrong in 2011. It's wrong now. It's still wrong.
But I figured it was a good way to close out this discussion, you know? I feel like we've had some good... Today's a good meeting of the minds, guys. I think we've broken through some barriers. We've made progress.
We said something more racist than Jacob has ever said on the show, so he's got that going for him.
Technically,
And
we read something more racist.
yeah, I said
Fact.
something. Yeah, like no one.
Fact.
That was not original thought from any of us.
So, if you've gotten to the end of the episode after skipping through the beginning just to find out the announcement, we're not going to mention it again, so go back and watch the whole fucking episode, you lazy motherfucker. On that note, though, any closing thoughts other than that the article we just read was horrible?
If you've reached the end of this 2-hour episode, I'm so sorry.
It's not 2 hours. It's only an hour and a half so far.
Really?
Pay attention, Jacob.
It feels so much longer.
Why are you sorry?
I don't know. I think just like the.
What do you have to be sorry about other than the usual
I
things?
gotta find out about that article.
This episode did feel kind of like a clusterfuck.
But we touched on all of the things that we wanted to touch on, and I'm never going to say that sentence again because it sounds horrible.
I hate that sentence so much. Yeah,
We brought up all of the topics that we wanted to discuss today.
we got through everything.
We were thorough. Henry David Thoreau. That's fine.
Ben, the Why Are You Like This episode of the Dr. Z Show.
Do it.
Woo!
Adios.